show for the serious fishermen as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros. Shake, Rattle, and Troll, brought to you by Bill Luke Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram. I-17 and Camelback Road since 1927.
We got the power, we got the speed. We're running wide open on a midsummer breeze. Freshwater, saltwater, watch out, boys. Bass Daddy Don's gonna make some noise. It's me and the boys gonna shake, rattle, and...
Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman, the man that fears no fish, Bass Daddy and Tournament Pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm Don McDowell. Welcome to Shake, Rattle, and Troll today. Hope everybody's having a great day. Good day to stay inside. It's going to be hot.
Nah.
Damn hot. Real hot. Hot for a long time. Okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to be talking to Captain Bill Wilkerson aboard the Malahini boat out of San Diego, where the weather is always nice and the fishing's usually pretty good. We'll be talking to Alan Kudak. You need to know this guy. I don't know what he was, 18 years old, 17 or 18 years old. He's one of the first guys into the Twin Towers on 9/11. We're going to talk to him a little bit about that and honor him a little bit. And then at 8:30, as always, the Rim Country Fishing Report with Master Rod Builder James Guggenauer from Rim Country Custom Rods. And we have some special guests today, JK. We're going to learn about varmint calls. We have Amber and James here. I met them over at Lookout Mountain Outdoors talking to Joey. And it's interesting going in there. I went in there for a specific reason. An hour and a half later, we'd been on 3 bear hunts, 2 elk hunts, and a Cape Buffalo hunt that I've been on about 14 times. But I love that guy. Hey, guys, welcome.
Thank
you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
What'd I say?
I don't know if that wasn't right.
It's Autumn.
Did I call you Amber?
Yeah, that's okay. I get that all the time.
You know,
I just thought AJ. That's who I'll remember.
Okay, Autumn, my apologies. I was
No
thinking
worries.
Amber Jack, which is a whole nother story, like white sea bass. Never mind. You need to fish more.
Yeah, you need to hunt more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tell me about it. So you had a little episode yesterday with the bull elk.
Yeah, it was really fun. We were seeing bulls. They're nicely tucked away. For anybody who thinks you can just drive down a road, yeah, you're going to see the low end of the gene pool. A lot of cows and calves, and some of the spikes are still going to be there. Those big bulls are hanging in the thickest crap.
What did you just say?
What?
That is a sexist remark.
Cows and the calves, you're going to see them out on the road.
The low end of the gene pool.
Yeah, and some of the low end of the gene pool.
So you're talking about women and children again?
No, I'm talking about the rag bulls. They haven't figured it out yet.
Help me out here, James.
No comment.
And Autumn,
No comment.
you just feel free just to flog you down.
Nice. Is that the bus I just went under? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Sandy Bar again.
Oh, no. That's a whole different topic. That's one where that's a war zone.
It's low into the gene pool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she's from Michigan, too. Isn't that surprising? We're both from Michigan.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Back to the gene pool.
Okay. At any rate, the territory up there, if you think that you're going to find big bulls, these guys are riding it out right now. They're resting, they're watering, and they are so high up. I mean, hike from the control road all the way to the top, almost within 200 yards of the top of the rim.
Yikes.
So it's a long hike up there. And
just out of curiosity, you start from the bottom and go up?
Yes.
You ever think about
coming down?
Going from the top down?
The only problem, you can glass well from the top down, like Milk Point Ranch up in there. Yeah. You can glass down. But it's kind of fun to just work your way up to the top slowly, and you see stuff. And I was looking for antlers, too.
In the bears?
Sign, no footprints like we had. No, we have a thoroughfare. That secret spot is a thoroughfare.
Yeah, we may have Joy wandering behind us at some point.
He's going to put a tracking device on you.
He's all over. Well, here's I love hiking with JK because he's
polar opposites.
He's a pretty bright guy, but he hadn't figured out that I rub bacon grease on his boots.
Oh.
So here, JK, you go first.
Awesome. awesome. That's a nice tip. I'm going to have to.
It's not baiting.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Debbie.
Well, that, and, there's a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich in his backpack.
At all times.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, so tell me about your company. Let's start with a web address and a little history.
It's www.zerichoutdoors.com.
Where did that come from, Zerich?
Just a creative name we came up with. We hunt out here in Arizona, and it's dry and desolate, and Zerich.
Yeah, we wanted to keep it almost in the name, and Zerich means dry shrubbery, pretty much.
I knew that.
Yeah.
So it's the landscape, and kind of we're working on kind of learning how to film our hunts, and we've spent the last few seasons playing with the camera more than the weapon that we're shooting with.
Yeah, you will. Yeah.
There's this thing called hiring somebody who knows what they're doing, and you just do your thing. I guarantee you it's a lot more fun.
We're learning that, but
I got my GoPro in yesterday, got it out of the box, put it back in the box, and I'm going to save that for Pat.
Yep. Pat Daddy knows what he's doing there.
Yeah, I need to get in the 21st century, but I'm not going to do it with that camera.
yeah.
Uh-uh.
Just strap it to your head and let it roll. I'm learning that is the longer the camera's on, the more footage you'll get, because
Absolutely.
turning the camera on when a turkey or a deer's walking in on you is
Not happening.
near impossible.
Too late.
You need an extra hand for
Yeah.
that.
But, that's what we're after. It's more than just the game calls, having, just kind of sharing our adventures and sharing our, everything we learn in the outdoors with everybody else.
Well, how did you guys come about doing this, and where do you hunt? What do you hunt?
It kind of just came into play. We didn't really think much about it. We just kind of started just doing. It's kind of, the concept kind of came from the Outdoor Channel as well. We were like, we could do that. This looks fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, just seeing how much fun they have.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on TV that you go, damn, that's the best they can do.
Yeah, that too.
Been there, done that. Yep.
And then you get a camera in your hands, and it's a lot more difficult than you think.
It is. We had
Yeah.
a TV show for about 3 years, and it's torment.
Mm-hmm.
Totally torment.
Sorry, we both have a face made for radio.
Oh, thanks.
We do. Come on, admit it. You know we do.
Yeah, I get it.
Now you two, however,
I pretty much was going to lighten up watching that J.D. King film until they started talking about Priuses right at the end.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
watch your mouth.
Yeah. Blue's better than
No
green.
comment.
And it's better for the environment to drive an SUV than it is a Prius. So.
Yeah, but it's better on my pocketbook to drive the
Well,
Prius
that's-
than
yeah,
the
that's-
Tundra.
I don't know, that new 1500 Eco Diesel in the Ram.
How many miles to the gallon does that get?
They're advertising 28 highway.
Oh,
Wow.
my gosh.
Better than my car.
9,200 pounds of towing capacity.
Those numbers make a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but still, I'd be cutting back from 45 to 28.
That.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What we're trying to get him to do is, what are you going to take you to 250,000 or 300?
I'm trying for 300,000.
300,000. We're going to cut the wheel wells, put a lift kit on it.
Yep. Serious.
Put.
We're going to make it a Trius.
I'm trying to imagine this in my head right now.
Yeah, just
All it
lift
needs
kit,
is a bigger-
ATV tires.
Yeah. And you're good to go. You cut out a little bit of the wheel well, and we're rolling.
Borrow some UTV parts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's good stuff. Anyway,
I have to be a part of this construction.
yeah, it's all good. So I have to ask you, who does the woodwork on your game calls?
I make them.
You do?
Yeah, I do all the turning. Some of it starts from raw lumber. Some of it starts from stuff I can just buy at like Woodworker Source and raw stock.
Do you have
Yeah.
a frame that you work with? I mean, like for when you're turning them, obviously you want to be as consistent as possible, so you've got some kind of a frame set up for it.
I do. Mostly I just use measurements for right now. I don't have any sort of
A gauge.
templates or gauges right now.
Yeah.
Keeping them as handmade as possible.
They look good,
Thank you.
and I like the way that you're using different woods to see which ones work well.
Hmm.
Have you tried anything like an African sumac? Any of those?
No.
African sumac's one of the more plentiful woods.
Okay.
Olive is the same thing. Obviously, they're dry when you're starting to turn, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And so you're not going to get a whole lot of cracking, which is good.
Yeah.
What
that's
about
key.
the tone? Is there any difference in wood?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the softer the wood, the less tone you get, so you won't be able to reach out there as far. The harder the wood, you'll be able to reach out there, a little higher pitch you can get out of the call.
I mean, it's basic in the sense that when you have that brittleness, it, like with anything else, wood is still alive even after they've turned it to beat the band. And the softer the wood, it seems to almost grab in some of the sound. It's minuscule compared to us, but it does do that.
How does that equate to handmade lures, fishing lures?
I don't know. I don't know fishing. I know hunting. Go away.
Maybe top water versus.
Well, I know that the heavier the lure and the more that you cut it, with the wood you're talking about, the life expectancy on the elk will be a lot longer. Same thing with, I would love to see somebody turn an ironwood lure.
Wow.
I think that would be a hoot and a half. It would really be fun.
Yeah, good luck
Challenge
on
accepted.
Good luck on
Give
that.
it a shot.
If you give me the layout, I could probably do that in ironwood.
I have handmade stuff from Japan out of wood. I'll I'll bring one down. They're they're like some of his game calls. I'd be hard pressed to throw them in the rocks. I just leave them in the box, put them up on the shelf, and go, wow, yeah, that's cool. All right, hey, we're going to step down. Thanks to some of our sponsors, including Bill Luke Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and now Fiat. I-17 West Camelback Road, since 1927. I'm Don McDowell here with
JK.
James.
And Autumn.
Not Amber.
Not Autumn.
Okay.
Fall.
And Zurich Outdoors.
Wow.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Trying to be a father, raise a daughter and a son, be a lover to their mother, everything to everyone, up and at 'em bright and early, I'm all business in my suit. Yeah, I'm dressed up for success.
All righty, we're back. We're going to switch gears, guys. Hang on. We're going to downtown San Diego with Captain Bill aboard the really cool sport vessel, the Malahiti. Captain Bill, good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning, Don and guys. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Good.
I'm always doing good, but when I start looking at the fish count, especially aboard the Malahiti, you guys are whacking 323 barracuda. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Barracuda fishing the past 2 days has been phenomenal, guys. We had limit style fishing yesterday for barracuda to go along with some calico bass, and we managed to capture one trophy. It's been an issue with the San Diego 3/4 day fleet as a whole, because we haven't been able to get big bait. We've been having to make it ourselves. But fishing for the most part is I wish it was like this every year. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. How are the? I noticed she had a few yellowtail yesterday, and there was a total of 40 on the dock count, which we'll talk about later on. But how many guys you have out yesterday?
We got out with 41 anglers, and we fished about 23 miles from the point of San Diego, and barracuda fishing was stupid.
Yeah,
that's what we call it. That's what we call it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, the sand bass are starting to move into, which is a good thing. We've been looking for the sand bass for about the past week and a half, as we roll down the line in the morning. And yesterday, I do believe it was a San Diego boat, actually got on a school of bass. We were more focused on trying to catch a trophy and barracudas. It's been, guys, it's good fishing. It's good fishing. I think it's easy fishing for the kids, you know what I mean?
Big kids?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I like. Easy, stupid fishing.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
We qualify for that, just so you know.
I know the feeling. Don't feel bad. I get to say I feel the same way. It's biting and it's fun. Fishing to me is catching fish is a byproduct of having a good time.
Absolutely.
You come out, you get on the boat. You come out, get on the boat. You have a blast. Chances are you're going to come back again. You get out on the boat, you don't catch any fish, and you've had a bad time, chances are you won't come back.
Captain, what was the better bait for the barracuda?
Chovy.
Really?
Chovy. Yeah. That's all we've been able to get, and for whatever reason, they like the barracuda, like the smaller bait.
Yeah. Was it? I know it's pretty hard to be chucking irons and stuff like that when you have that many guys on board. But was there anybody throwing irons?
I do believe the two yellowtail that were caught, or the yellowtail that was caught on our boat yesterday, was off of a surface jig.
Nice.
It makes for a fun time for the family. You know what I mean? When everybody comes out, everybody gets hooked up on a bass or a barracuda. Yellowtail fish is kind of. I'm not gonna say it's a finesse game, but when they're not full steam biting, it's a finesse game. You can throw a jig, chances are you'll get bit. If you can't throw a jig, you'll watch people who can throw a jig get bit. It's been a lot of complaints that we have because we have a lot of regulars that come out on the boat and all they do is throw jigs.
Yeah.
It makes it frustrating. So with what we call not bycatch, but we call it filler. The barracuda, the calico bass, and the rockfish, when we're chasing yellowtail, they're a filler for us. Keeps everybody busy and everybody excited and happy.
Well, that's good stuff. As long as everybody's catching fish, that's a good thing. How many guys are on an average targeting the yellowtail?
You mean boat-wise?
Well, no. Out of your 39 or 41 guys, whatever it was, a third of them going after yellows, or are they just out there fishing?
Everybody starts fishing yellows, and when they get the idea that it's not really going to work out for them, we give a seminar in the morning on the way out, letting people know that this is our plan of attack for today. Every place that we fish, there's bottom structure, so they get bored or frustrated. Well, let us know. We'll sinker you up. You go down to the bottom and catch your fish.
Dragging worms.
Yep.
Exactly. The barracuda portion of the fishing game this past week has been, 3/4 8-ounce sinker on your line with a hook, pin a chovy on, get it away from the boat, and the chovy does the rest.
Anybody throwing swim baits?
For the calico bass, I know I ran the boat last Sunday, and I think we had 6 or 7 yellowtail, 70 barracudas, 50 or 60 calico basses, and I actually fished a little bit, and every cast with my swim bait, I got bit. It's fishing with a swim bait's kind of like fishing with a worm, if you will. Cast it out, you let it sink to the bottom, and you're bouncing it along the bottom as you're bringing it back toward the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you get bit with by a big mouth or something like that, calico bass is the same difference.
Absolutely.
Easy fishing.
You guys spend any time out around Greenpoint?
We do not. We're actually fishing Mexico. So we're down by the Pile, fishing a place called Genoa, Oscar. These are just rock formations or islands or little mini islands and stuff like that come up. I think the yellowtail have actually got acclimated to structure for the most part. Past month and a half, we've been fishing, I'm not going to say deep water stuff because that hasn't been deep water stuff, but 20, 25 fathoms, and they're racing around. You get over top of them. You throw a bunch of bait. Sometimes they respond to the bait. Sometimes they don't. You'll sit there and you'll watch them splash around. You sit back on the anchor. You throw out. You see the bait. You see the fish attacking the chum line, getting closer and closer and closer to the boat. There's boils everywhere, and all of a sudden they just disappear. Like they're saying, "Thank you."
Yeah, boy.
Have a nice day.
What's up with the bait situation this year, in your opinion?
We've been on yellowtail since January, and we had big bait January, February, first week of March, and then after that, for whatever reason, the bait receivers can't make the bait as far as big bait because there's no big bait around. So we start, on our way out. We jig for squid. That's a blast.
Oh yeah.
People get a kick out of that. And then, you get your people. You're supposed to have all the bait on the boat, this, that, one thing, the other. Well, we do have all the bait on the boat. You want to fish with anchovies all day, or you want to put the work in, you know what I mean, to try and catch some of the squid so we can go after a trophy. Once they see, the deckhands catching squid, because the deckhands normally started off, see the deckhands catch a squid or mackerel for that matter, and we've been fishing with some gigantic mackerels and catching yellowtail. So I'm just like, okay, this is going to work too.
Yep.
Well, that's good stuff. We look forward to seeing you over there a couple times during the month of July. But we're going to wish you a good day today, and thanks for playing along. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Don. Hey, I got a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
When are you coming out and going fishing on the Malahini?
Wednesday.
You've been telling me this for 2 or 3 years now.
I know.
I haven't seen you yet.
Last time I was there, you weren't on the boat, but we'll be there. Absolutely, Captain Bill.
All righty. I look forward to it.
Absolutely, me too. God love you. Check him out at hmlanding.com, 3/4 day, the Malahini boat. Awesome vessel. We're going to stand down and take a little bit of a break and go back to calling varmints. Yeah, a little air guitar. Nice. It's San Diego music.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, buddy. All righty, hey, we're back. I'll tell you what, JK, some of the most memorable trips we've had over San Diego, 824, 25 days worth of it. The barracuda fishing over there, like right now.
Like you said, stupid.
It is, but, I'm not one for throwing live bait. They make pretty good lunch, a little mustard and some lemon sauce.
You would say that. I knew
yeah.
it. He's done it. I've watched videos of him doing it.
Anchovies right out of the bait
Pops
tank.
the head and
bam,
puts it on.
Yum.
Nasty.
Yeah. I'd be swallowing goldfish and washing it down with a beer. I mean,
How does that go with my Dramamine?
Not bad.
Not bad?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never mind it. But, the swim baits, you've got to use about a 7-inch stainless leader on a 3/4 inch. Throw them out there, count them down about 15, and just burn them back to the boat.
They're not making it back.
No, those barracuda are pretty hard on your swim bait bodies, but
yeah, and real hard on those steel leaders too. I'll bet that'll put a chink in it.
Yep, it's all good stuff. All right, let's go back to Autumn and James here. When did you start your business?
A couple months ago, actually.
Really?
It was in the process for main time right now.
Yeah.
It took probably a month after all the paperwork, and then we just kind of all right, that's it. I can't wait anymore. Threw the website up and just started getting the calls rolling. So we're a couple months in now.
Yeah.
I'm getting the picture really quickly here. Brains in the worker.
Yep. Yeah. I've been making the calls, though, for about 5 or 6 years now. So it's nothing we just...
Is this where you're going to talk about the lure into the gene pool again?
No, I wouldn't dream of doing that. He's bigger than me.
Okay.
We learned a little bit about the gene pool calling some coyotes. You always know
that always happens, doesn't it?
Have you had any encounter with any of our wolves?
I haven't. My roommate, he was up Apache, and then on one of the lakes out in Apache, said he thought he saw one last year sometime. But that's all I've heard of them in the last few years.
Where do you like to call? Which areas? I mean, 6A, 6B,
in
4A, 4AB?
You name it. There's coyotes all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Metro Center.
Yeah, Metro Center.
Really?
Greenway and 7th Street. No, actually, Unit 8 has a lot of good coyotes. 6A, out near Lake Pleasant.
Yep.
Even chased some bobcats out by Bartlett, just south of there. So. Depends on how you're feeling that day and how far you want to drive.
So what position?
Do you drive? Have you ever ridden in a Prius?
No, I've never.
Would you like to try it December up in
Come
4A?
Come on,
oh, yeah,
Dave.
definitely if we're going to call some yotes.
I never take anybody for a cruise in a Prius just for driving sake.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that to anybody. But if you want to ever go,
Yeah,
call Big Coyotes. We go up in 4A. There's some real good ones.
Okay,
As
yeah.
well as some Bobcats up there.
that'd be fun.
Woof, woof.
Good unit too.
There's wolves there.
We are
Yeah.
allowed to hunt there in the nighttime, too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
That was just put through by Commissioner Mansell.
Yeah, we took that class. We're ready to go, aren't we?
Class?
Oh no, we took trapping. We're gonna try to take up some trapping this year also.
Nice.
Last year we kind of took the class and dabbled in it a little bit, played with it some, and this year we're gonna hit a little bit harder.
Have you met Scott Corcoran from Southwest Fur Harvesters?
No.
You need to know that guy.
Big time.
Patrick and I spent 3 or 4 days in his trapping camp, and he's truly a master at what he does. And just hanging out with him, we were javelina hunting and goofing around with the big sexy, the big 5-ton, and just watching what he does. I've tried trapping a few times. My trapping highlight was a skunk on the opening day of 5th grade. And having to deal with my granddad and the skunk and being late for school. And
I was like 11 years old, and I bought my first Have-A-Heart trap as a kid living in Michigan.
have a heart.
It's called Have-A-Heart because it was a box. You could catch them alive.
Okay.
It was, you had the discrimination ability as to whether you're going to let it go. And the first thing I did was I thought I caught a skunk, and I brought it home. And
Nice.
I knew that skunks could not release their scent if they can't raise their tail. So I confirmed that with, I took it home and said, Mom, look what I caught, a skunk. Let's have him descented, And he was very docile. And I left him in the garage, went to school. And about 3 hours later, I get this frantic phone call. Come to the office, Mr. John Colazar.
Oh,
I went,
no.
whoa, what did I do? Rode home, and my mom was just coming unglued because she'd talked to some neighbors, and they said, get him out of there, get him out of there. So I had to go and release him, and I did it with a 20-foot long cord, popped the lid on it, let him out, and he just sprayed over everything. And I thought, I am so glad that I didn't do that in my home because my parents would have killed me.
Nice.
After that, I went to conibears. That took care of them. Conibear trapping was the best way I knew. And I would catch a lot of mink and muskrat doing that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think every kid should at least one time in his young life catch a skunk and deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. That pretty much put an end to my trapping desires at that point.
The only thing that ever put an end to my desires was falling through the ice when you're going for muskrats around the lake's edges. I fell through.
Oh,
and
no.
It was like 10 degrees outside, and both all the way up to just short of my thighs.
No, that reaffirms one of my I think it's Rule 47. Ice and fishing don't belong in the same sentence.
Oh, and I've done so much of that.
Yeah, well.
No,
So
thanks.
I understand you have some knowledge of Flagstaff.
Yep, born and raised.
Oh,
There it
Berkeley
is.
North. There we go.
Yeah, me
What
too.
do they put in the water up there? You two seem to be immune to it. Everybody else was liberal to beat the band.
I have no idea what's in the water since I've left. I've been out of there 7 years.
Oh, okay.
Not as liberal.
I hate to say it, but being born and raised in Flagstaff myself, it's a good place to be from
It is.
today.
I love going back. I love the pines. Nothing like
Yeah, but
being up there.
I can just as easily bypass Flagstaff with the traffic jams and not keeping up with the population, the infrastructure, and certainly the mentality.
Different mentality.
Yeah.
Sucks. Yeah.
No.
Well, that back in the '60s, we had a lot of the hippies.
They weren't born then.
They yeah, I'm sure you read about it, right? Yeah, nice.
I read about that.
Yeah.
Got to know a few up there.
They look like that now, don't they?
Yeah. The bad part, they're in Washington running the damn country.
Yeah, that is part of the problem.
Yeah, Sandy Bars of the world. And
We knew that.
think she knows Panama Red?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure she does.
So let's get back to your varmint calls. What type of reed system do you use?
JC reeds. He's got a variety, a couple hundred different reeds. So kind of picked and choose which ones I like, and those are the few that I use in my distress calls for the most part. And then we've got some of the cow calls and crow calls that we make the reeds and everything for them.
Really?
You make the reeds yourself on the
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
crow
we
calls?
hand cut these. Mm-hmm.
Nice. How do you insert them into your calls, the wood calls?
Into the distress calls?
Yeah.
Very carefully.
Nice. Grab between your forefinger and thumb.
You know. Okay,
It's a science
Autumn,
box.
can we have a conversation? Because James is just blowing me out the door.
It's a challenge. I have a little tool that I've made that helps press them into the calls. You can make them too, like the stopper, where they have a stopper and it holds the reed. These are a little easier to put in. And then just turn. Just
Let's take a peek at that.
Okay, show and tell. Let's describe what you just did. So what?
What he's done is he's turned this item, and then he's got a little bit of he returned on the inside so that it slides into that area there. So he sliced it. Wait a minute.
That looks like something else for me to lose.
It does.
On that particular call, yes.
These are two different ones, aren't they? You can't do this way. So what you did was you cut one piece, and then you cut the other piece to slide in.
Correct.
So it fit. It's the correct diameter. Yeah.
And we're doing that because why?
That's kind of the older method of making them. A lot of calls, even duck calls, have the barrel stopper design.
Yep.
Where this call, some of the other distress calls are just just have a simple trumpet style design where the reed is permanently installed within the barrel.
So you basically make sure that you've got the correct diameter and wedge it in is what it is.
Essentially.
You don't use any form of gluing on it, do you?
No gluing, because you want to be able to, if you do have issues with the reed or something.
Slide it back out.
You want to change the reed. You shouldn't have to. I mean, you've got a whole box of these calls that probably never had to change the reeds in them, so, I mean, they should last a lifetime.
Absolutely.
Done right, and you take good care of it.
I like the wood.
Well, that's what I was telling Autumn yesterday. You being a woodworker would appreciate some of the things that James has crafted here.
Most definitely. A lot of magic is lost in making of calls nowadays. Everybody just wants to throw all the plastic pieces together.
Yeah. I don't like that. These are fun. And I mean, certainly, given the right diameters, we could make this. That's not an issue.
Yeah.
Well, but, there's an opportunity for your own TV show. You got Duck Dynasty, and how about Coyote Dynasty?
Oh, yeah.
Coyote
Wolf
Dynasty.
Yeah,
nice.
Coyote Dynasty will be fun.
All right, hey, we're going to stand down. When we come back, we're going to do a roll call for June 29th. We've lost 3 Marines this past week, and we'll tell you about that when we come back. I'm Don McDowell.
Special K.
James.
And Autumn with Zurich Outdoors.
There you go. We'll be right back.
With a little mouth to mouth, she was ready to go. I'm the fire. Driving home after 2 umbrella drinks. I heard he's got a Prius, cause he's into being green. My buddy said he's
all righty, you're really into being green?
I love you, John.
Okay, we're going to talk about J.D. King, in the next hour for a couple minutes. Next week, we're going to be talking about blue is better than green, Agenda 21. You might want to Google that. And
Crying Wolf is an awesome depiction of what actually had transpired with the wolf transplants that came out.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim Beers has been on the show with us and exposed some of the things the Federal Fish and Wildlife Service has done. $60 million going south out of the Pittman Robinson money, and
all to bring predators back in.
The thing I found interesting about that, John, was J.D. King and one of the other guys he was interviewing. In fact, it was Jim Beers, I believe, that said the states never demanded their money back.
Well, they became too afraid. They are at this point afraid of the federal government, and the feds have the power right now. So they didn't say boo. And I don't think that there's ever been an appropriate accounting.
Well, I think we're seeing some of the payback coming with Governor Brewer pointing her finger, shaking her finger at Mr. Obama. And now we need 24,000 pairs of white boxer shorts for the Guatemalans, Nicaraguans, Hondurans, and whoever else they dumped in here.
Yep.
Things aren't bad enough, so we got to import problems. But anyway, James, Autumn, let me ask you this: what's your best recommendation for general coyote calling? before we get into bobcats and lions and some of the other things that
I prefer to hear from Autumn.
What I've learned so far, coyotes have their own unique voice, just like humans do. So when you have all these calls that you're making with all these different type of wood, they have their own sound. So when it comes to coyote calling, I found that is the best aspect as of right now. To get
unique.
A specific, unique sound, because every coyote has their own noise. Just
Are
like
they
humans.
curious, of course, to come in and see what's chirping in their neck of the woods?
Oh,
all of a sudden?
extremely curious. You betcha. I think I miss them just about every time. I don't have an eye for them yet, I guess. I'll be sitting there just looking at the caterpillar crawling on my arm or something, and he'll be over here.
That's called ADD. I
Yeah.
have a bad case of that. Yeah,
Next
like
thing you know, he'd be
straight.
like, "Did you see that?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't." I saw this caterpillar though.
James is going, we saw 375 coyotes, but she saw 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got a taste of my calling. I'm good for about 8 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. If it doesn't come, we'll move.
Yeah, he moves quickly.
That sounds familiar as well.
It's about the average for most people to sit a stand 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I like to sit
A half hour.
15 to a half hour.
Do you do any glassing at all?
Yeah.
Okay. That helps you pick up movement.
It will.
Yeah, this guy's like the glass master.
Yeah, that's good.
I can glass all day.
This actually happened in 6B during elk season. We started glassing, right at gray light. We came back the next morning and said, "John, come on, we got to go home now."
Up there. all day.
Same spot.
I definitely have an opinion on glassing now. Ever since you bought those Vortex optics.
Really.
Yeah, they're so clear. Like before, the one that I had, it was.
Imagine that, a woman with an opinion.
Surprise.
Here we go.
She's learning the importance of your hunting tools, optics and
Okay,
good gear.
now, you strap on a pair of 15 by 56 Swarovskis, you put it on a mount, and you won't come back all day either.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I agree now.
I just
Before
picked
I
up
was like,
some
who
Vortex
does this?
1556s.
Yeah.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a tripod you mount them on?
Yeah, tripod, everything.
Little pan handle so you can move it around.
Yeah.
You pick apart a mountain. You get up high, you can sit there all day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing what you'll pick up, particularly the first hour, last hour.
Yeah.
Ants, caterpillars. I like the caterpillars.
Yeah, right.
You would, never mind.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun out there.
He's got the patience of a gnat.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
You're going to come with me October 1st. We're going out to our spot, and you're going to nail that big bear. And we're going to do it just by watching and a little bit of calling. You watch. It's going to happen.
No bacon, lettuce, and tomato.
Won't be necessary.
No, it's not. Those bears are using that corridor.
Oh, they are. Corridor. Yeah. I showed the footprint to Joy. I'm not. I can't repeat on the air what he said.
Of course not.
Other than it's a big bear.
Big bear.
Yeah.
Big bear.
Yeah.
Papa Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going. So let's get back. You're talking about a unique sound. The coyotes around here, they're pretty well inundated with varmint callers, and albeit we have some expert varmint callers. Eddie Murdoch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were talking about Eddie, and
he knows
just
his stuff.
Awesome. Oh yeah. But what do you recommend sound-wise? High pitch, loud, semi-loud.
Take them all. I take a couple different calls. I got a nice raspy call I take out.
Let's set the stage. If you had one, if you could
I like
just
raspy.
have one raspy.
Nice loud raspy that reaches out there. You get a little bit more dramatic sound out of it. Raspy jackrabbit, to be specific, and it gets a lot of attention. It can reach out there because it's almost like a scream. It's carrying out there farther than a high pitch. It doesn't quite have the umph behind it. So out here, the coyotes have been called so much, and a lot of the calls off the shelf are pretty much the same reeds, just different bodies in them. So I've got little different reeds in my calls and some of the off the shelf stuff that's raspier and a little more nasty. So that's what I'll take out there, and it seems to get interest.
They dive in.
Yeah, they come
He's being
close.
subtle right now. They dive in.
Okay, in terms of how long do you call?
We
do you do 30-second blurps and
like
then
in my sequence?
Yes.
Some sequences like earlier in the morning, you take a couple minute sequence, 3 minutes of calling, couple minutes of silence, a minute of calling, silence, 3 minutes of calling. So I'll mix it up. 9, 10 o'clock, get a little bit more towards noon. I'll just call nonstop. I won't stop calling until something comes in.
Now, do you two hunt back to back?
We're gonna have to start with a camera. Usually we'll be like on different sides of a knoll or something, and with bows,
we were adjusting
it doesn't really work.
Camera issue. Yep.
With what?
Archery. We take bows out and try to whack them with a bow.
I already like this guy.
That's why we get him to dive in, because
we
we got a bow and a camera. We're shuffling. And we want him to come in fast, so we're ready for him.
Been a new challenge.
You see that look on his face?
He's stunned. Hey, whatever. Whatever trips your trigger.
Now, how many have you taken coyotes with a bow?
No, I have a lot of missed shots with a bow, so that's kind of why it's been new, trying to get it on.
Yeah, I'm going to rest my case right there. One of the things I'm going to recommend, you can buy them off the shelf. They're called 7.62 by 39s.
I grew up around guns. I am a gun person for sure.
Yep.
I've been learning how to use a bow for about 1.5 years now. I love the challenge of it.
Oh, yeah.
But when it comes to a gun, you're getting something. It's a little bit unfair here in the state of Arizona. Because I come from the east where a gun, you use it, you take the animal. But here, I like to use the challenge more because I know the populations are a little bit smaller. I challenge myself in that aspect.
Time out. What? The populations are not small on predators in this state.
Oh, predators? No.
Out of control.
I guess not on the predator side.
Okay, on the wildlife side, absolutely.
Yes.
For being with the ADA now for over a decade, I can tell you this: the mule deer herds have plummeted because of predators. And while I may admire the challenge of a bow, about once every other call, why don't you just sneak in that shotgun for up close and personal work?
I want to take both.
Well,
yes, thank you.
We've kind of changed that approach the last few weeks.
If you're not familiar with the ADA, that's a attention deficit association.
Yeah. He's poking at me.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I like your new ride.
There we go.
I have a beater that the Goodworks gave to me for the weekend. By the way, the guy Nathan over at Goodworks, he's probably the most knowledgeable guy I've ever met.
Who's that now?
He's the mechanic working on the Trius. Okay. Yeah, he knows his stuff, but it's the ride they gave me was a 1999 Toyota Corolla. It looks like a little spaceship.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say anymore. I'm sitting so low to the ground that at 40, I think I'm doing 200 in the Prius.
When you move into San Diego, the first Spanish phrase you learn is, "Will you help me push my car?" All right. Hey, we're going to tighten this up a little bit. We're going to go for... Alrighty, we're back. Welcome to the second hour of Shake, Rattle, and Troll. We have Autumn and James here from Zurich Outdoors Game Calls. Pretty cool stuff. JK's in here driving a Corolla today. Nice.
1999.
Yeah. You're such a manly man. I just love it. God love you.
There are things that shouldn't happen, and me driving that should not have happened, but that's okay.
It beats walking.
Yes, it does.
Having to call a green cab. We talk a lot about first responders and all the good things they do, and I want to introduce you to a guy that I'm happy to call a friend of mine, Alan Kudak, who was a first responder September 11th at the Twin Towers. Alan, good morning. Thanks for playing along with us today.
Don, good morning. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's all good, buddy. I want to congratulate you on the honors that have been bestowed upon you and your brother and first responders for 9/11. Why don't you give us a little rundown of how you got involved in that particular episode in our history?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I was a volunteer EMT for a little while, and had kind of started to get a couple more hours under my belt. And I lived in a small town, so we were basically on 24 hours and off 48 hours, and we spent most of that time in our squad building, passing time watching TV, waiting for a call to come out because it wasn't a very busy area. And I had this was about 3 months after I had turned 18. I had just turned 18. So I was at that perfect age where, you know, you're a guy, you're 18, you know everything, you've seen everything, and you're convinced that you have. And, man, I remember it like it was yesterday. We were watching TV, we're flipping through the channels, and we were watching CNN, and there was a Ditech mortgage commercial on, and I remember the ticker at the bottom of the screen in all caps says World Trade Center disaster. And this was just a couple minutes after the first plane had hit the North Tower, which we didn't know at that time that's what had happened. And so we're watching, trying to kind of figure out what's going on, and everybody was thinking there was some kind of explosion or something happened, a gas line or something like that. And so we're all sitting there watching, and a little bit of time goes by. This is about probably 8:45 or so, 8:50, and then a couple minutes after 9, the second plane hits the South Tower, and this is just a few minutes after 9. And so at this point, we're kind of starting to talk with each other and speculate what we think is going on. And about 10 minutes after that, maybe 8 or 9, 10 minutes later, we get dispatched. And we come back across the radio and just verify that we heard it correctly. And they confirmed it, and so we kind of looked at each other and jumped in the rig and went. You don't really think about it, you know, where you're going or why you have to go. You just go, and we get directions as we're en route. And I remember we're driving down Route 78, going towards the Holland Tunnel, and this is one of the first of two things that happened that really kind of hit home that this was real, that this was going on. We're coming up towards the Holland Tunnel, and I see about 2 or 3 fighter jets go flying overhead towards the island of Manhattan. And we're sitting in traffic, you know, we're running lights and sirens and running up the shoulder, and we see these fighter jets. They're flying real low, and they're flying towards the city, and that kind of was the first inclination to me that there's something going on here that's just not, you know, an everyday occurrence. And we get up to the entrance of the tunnel, and there's a bunch of state troopers there telling us all the tunnels and bridges in and out of New York City are closed, and so we have to wait and for them to verify that we've been dispatched out. And so we get out of the tunnel, we go around a couple blocks and turn onto Broadway, and this is just shy of 10 o'clock, a couple minutes before 10 o'clock. And we're heading south, and all I remember is we're heading down Broadway, and we're watching all the traffic, watching people in the crosswalks, because there's a ton of people out kind of running every different direction. And I remember seeing everybody just stop, dead in their tracks, almost like you had hit pause on a movie you were watching. And so we look ahead of us, and we see the South Tower collapse. And, you know, it's that feeling you get, like if you've ever had a dream where you're screaming but you can't hear yourself. And that's really, I mean, the only way that I can describe it. And the second thing that happened that really brought this home, and this is something I'll never forget. It's about a 10:15, and we arrive on scene, and at this point the North Tower is still standing, and the first thing we see is we think we're seeing pieces of the building falling off the top of the building, and then we get within a couple blocks, and we realize that there's people jumping from about, I think the 80th or 90th floor. And I remember looking around, there's a couple firefighters, a couple other medics and police officers in their vehicles, and they had stopped in the middle of the road just like we did and gotten out of their vehicles, and they were just kind of watching in disbelief. And that's when you kind of, for a second, remember that you're all still human. You know, you're just people like anybody else. And we were on scene for a few minutes. You know, you got to kind of go back to what your job is. And I remember hearing this sound. It kind of sounds like a big ship when they're coming in or out of port, like a big creaking noise. And so next thing we know, we see a bunch of firefighters and police officers running down the street telling us to leave the area. And so we're trying to find out what's going on, and they won't tell us. So we kind of get in our rig and we drive. the opposite direction, heading north. We make it about 15 or 16 blocks. I think it was around Canal Street, and I remember the windows are down, and we hear people screaming, and we look in our rearview mirror, and we see the North Tower come down. And at that point, we had to wait about an hour, hour and a half, maybe close to 2 hours, and we headed back down to what's now Ground Zero and started kind of to try to triage and rescue and then do the best we could down there. There was kind of a scene where it was just organized chaos. And Don, the one thing I remember more than anything is when that North Tower collapsed, there was a guy standing right outside the window of my rig. I was on the driver's side, and he goes running towards that direction, and the guy that's sitting next to us in the vehicle next to us jumps out and says, "Hey, what are you doing? You're going the wrong way." And the guy turns around, he pulls out his dog tags from under his shirt, and then turns around and keeps running back towards Ground Zero. And so that was kind of, as I look back and realize how much of that timeline I remember, it kind of gets emblazoned into your brain. And back then, I didn't really know what PTSD was, that it was a real thing, anything about it. I had never even heard that term. And it was real tough to deal with. I was real young, and I didn't have a lot of people to relate to that had gone through traumatic experiences like that, and I couldn't figure out why I didn't want to talk to anybody, why I didn't want to do anything, why I wanted to seclude myself. And I kind of thought to myself, well, if anything, I should want to be around other people. And it's tough when you don't have that support system, because it's hard to talk to somebody about it who's not experienced something like that. They kind of feel helpless, like they can't really give you advice, and I didn't want to burden my parents with that and my friends. And, it took a couple of years before I realized that there's help out there for people, and I don't like talking about this whole thing, but the one reason I'll do it is because if it can give me the opportunity to help somebody or to show somebody how to seek that help out, I feel like it's way worthwhile, And I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling on here.
No, you're doing a good job. I appreciate your ability to talk about it. It's one of those tragedies that that's going to stay with you forever, and most everybody else. That particular day. Even the guys out here, we all became New Yorkers. And Alan, I'm going to ask you to stay with us just for a couple minutes. We've got to thank some of our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll finish up with you. Okay?
Sure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All righty, stand by. We'll finish this up with Alan. We're going to take a break. Thanks some of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Blackbird in the barn, 450 acres.
Like driving on beaches and a license to fish in the sea.
All righty, we're back. Alan, you're hanging in there with us?
I sure am.
Okay, great. Alan, again, I appreciate your ability to talk about this particular event. Overall, how has this affected your perception going through your life at 18? You're relatively a young man, and God bless you for being there.
Well, thank you. I think more than anything, the most profound way that it's affected me is that it really taught me not to not judge anybody by initial appearance or by the initial things they've said or told me that they've done or experienced, because there's a lot of layers to that onion, so to speak. And it's really given me the ability to really take time to listen to people when they tell me about something that they've got going on, when they're experiencing something. It's allowed me to become a good shoulder to cry on, so to speak. And I think that's a really important attribute because, you deal with post-traumatic stress disorder, and, it's mainly attributed to, military personnel. And a lot of people have got this idea that, well, they're in the military, they're tough, they're unbreakable, unshakable, that they should be able to deal with anything. And I think it's really important to remember it doesn't matter whether you support the war, you don't support the war, you love our troops, or you don't understand what they're doing. I think the important thing to remember is that they're people, they're brothers, they're sisters, they're mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, and they have they have needs, emotional needs, mental needs, just like anybody else, and it's important, I think, for them to have that outlet of someone to talk to and somewhere to go to, and I think that's what we need to remember. It's not about us judging whether we support what they do or not. It's about us being there for them as a person, and realizing that we would want the same thing for us, whether it be something as traumatic as war, or a traumatic experience like I went through, or something as simple, something as simple as, well, I don't want to downplay and say simple as, but, other things like losing a family member, or even losing a pet. I mean, there's no scale where something's too small to affect someone, and I don't think it's our job to judge that. I think we need to be there for one another. I mean, right now, military personnel and first responders included, last I saw, the statistic was there's about 500,000 people that are affected right now by PTSD.
Well, one of the things that we're pretty cognizant of, some of the work that we do, and the military suicide rate is just stupid.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of people don't know this. There's almost twice as many service members that committed suicide in 2012 than died in combat. I don't know the 2013 statistics, but
it's not any better. It's Alan. It's continually on the rise right now.
And I think it's important to realize that you're not always going to be able to provide a solution to somebody or be that shoulder to cry on. But what you can do 100% of the time is let people know that you're there to offer that, to be there for them. And sometimes, like in my case, I didn't want to talk about it. I mean, it's 2014. This year will be the first year that I go back to Ground Zero to go see the museum and then go see the memorial. And sometimes I kind of give myself a hard time because I feel like it's been a long time and I should be able to handle it. But it's important to remember that there's no set timeline. And if I can, I want to share, there's a great resource that I've run across that anybody dealing with these issues or other issues can go to. It's completely free. There's a website. It's www.heroesandhealthyfamilies.org. They've got over 24 links on their website. They deal with things from identifying and responding to PTSD and the symptoms, addressing substance abuse, family violence, sexual assault, how to strengthen your relationships with people that you've got in your life. And most importantly, they talk a lot about key components to suicide prevention and recognizing the signs. And I think that's really important. And for people to realize you don't have to just be in the military to be dealing with something like this. And there's help out there, there's resources, and I think we need to be advocates for other people. And because sometimes they don't have the ability, they don't have the strength, they don't have the knowledge to do these things on their own and reach out, and they feel like there's nobody out there to help them. And I think it's our duty to take care of them, especially our service personnel. Like I said, whether you support it or don't support it, they're out there doing a job that you or I are not doing right now, and I think we need to support them just like they would support us in any job that we're doing. I think that's the most important thing.
Alan, you guys have had some national recognition of late. What all has been said or done on behalf of your team?
Well, they've officially got the 9/11 Memorial and Museum up and running, which they've got. They've got some memorabilia. They've got some other things from the actual Ground Zero site, some emergency vehicles, and that are on display there. And I recently found out that they've got a national registry of rescue responders and rescue workers. And I just found out this year that I got added to that registry. I didn't even know about it. I'm pretty sure it was one of the good friends that I served with that's probably added me on. But it's a great thing, not so much for recognition, but you can really get an idea of the names of, you get names of people, where and who they served with, and you can really get an idea for the number of people and from what walks of life they came from. There's you can actually go out there to the website, and there's a pie chart, and it shows you who were volunteers, who were people that just showed up just to help. And I think, on one hand, I'm really proud to get that recognition. I mean, I think if you ask anybody, they'll tell you the same. When you become a firefighter or a paramedic, you don't do it for the glamour and the publicity. And so it's nice to get recognized, but I think more importantly, what's great is that they're bringing this to the forefront. Things like this tend to kind of disappear after a couple of years, and people forget. And I don't think it's anybody's fault that those things happen, but I think it's important to bring these things out to the forefront and make people remember that these things are still real for a lot of families, that a lot of families are still grieving. And that website, if you want to visit it and check it out, it's 911memorial.org. You can set up your visit. There's a memorial there. You can also donate, which is really, really nice. There you can choose to donate out there, and basically it sustains the memorial, and it helps them to upkeep it and kind of just keep a lasting place there for reflecting and for people to go out and visit and remember. And there's also a couple links there too to some of the similar sites that like the one I mentioned earlier, to get some help with the grieving process and to deal with things. And I think that national recognition, not only for persons but just for the event in general, is really important, because I think the most important thing to remember is it's not how many years go by before you can kind of forget it and move on. I think the important thing to remember is that it's not about forgetting it and putting it behind you. I think you need to hold that there with you and remember it. I think it's part of the healing process, and I think it's part of the tool set, so to speak, of helping others, is that you can identify with having a traumatic experience and really offer some kind of insight as to maybe the help that you wanted that you didn't get, that now they can get because you can tell them about it.
Well, I think, our society as a whole is, we're in a crazy busy kind of a society. We have a tendency to forget things over a period of time, and I think we're numb to our first responders as a whole, starting with the military and all the other people that we rub shoulders with. The police department got a very high suicide rate. I can tell you firsthand, the pastor of my church is a former EMT firefighter, first responder, and he's not over it. I'm going to tell you, every other Sunday something comes out on his background and applies it to whatever he's preaching about at that particular time. But we want to thank you for doing what you did and being able to share that with us. And hope that.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we want to have you back, but we want to talk about hunting and fishing next time. Okay. Oh, that's right.
You'll have to educate me a little bit. Yeah.
There's another guy that doesn't fish.
What?
Are you kidding?
Hey, the connection's kind of breaking up a little bit, Don. I can't hear you.
Yeah. A lot of static on the line. Well, you guys are running with some good people back there, and Alan, we're going to wish you the best of the day.
Thanks, Alan.
Once again, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys, and keep doing what you're doing. I love the support you give everybody, and it's fantastic, and I love you guys for it.
All right, Alan, we'll talk to you next time. What a great guy, and I don't know how you can go through that kind of an event and be normal after that.
Not at 18.
Think about it.
Yep.
We'll be back.
Well, the morning's kind of damp. I'm not worried about cutting the grass. Left my truck at the boat ramp and my boat is full of gas. My old boss thinks I'm sick today. He won't have me to harass. 'Cause I'm out here on the river and he can kiss my big old bass. Kiss my bass.
All right, everybody sing. James, what's happening up in downtown Payson where the weather is always nice?
Hey, good morning, Don. A wonderful day up here today.
It was a wonderful day up there yesterday, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't beat the weather in Payson. It's up in the 90s, but mornings are cool, evenings are cool. We sleep with the windows open, so pretty nice time right now.
Well, we're looking forward to the festivities that Town of Payson's putting on at Green Valley Park. We'll be up there with McDowell Casino, Bill Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram on the Cornhole tournament, and come rain or shine, if it rains in the park, we're having the cornhole over at the casino.
Either way, you're going to have a cornhole tournament.
Yeah, one way or another, it's coming down. So,
if I would tell you how many people I had to explain what a cornhole is.
I'm with you there, my brother. Kim Carter, pretty sophisticated guy. You know, when this thing first came up for Bill Luke Bass days, we're sitting in the dealership, and he kind of crosses his arms, leans back in his chair, and he goes, "So, Don, what do you know about cornhole?" I go, "Nothing, boss. I've been in Alabama, Louisiana. I'm not going there. I got to go. Have a nice day." And, it just hadn't changed.
Yeah. It's going to be a good tournament. I know a lot of the people here in Payson are looking forward to it.
Those guys are, really serious about their cornhole. Absolutely some really, really good players up there. And from what I understand,
ringers from the Valley are coming.
Yeah, they're on their way. I mean, wow.
What I was told to tell you, J.K., from the cornhole tournament participants here in Payson is bring them on.
Ooh. Oh. I'm throwing money down on anything out of the Valley over anything you got up there in Payson.
That sounds like a race to me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I'd be on the back of a steer hide.
So, James, what do you know about cornhole?
Not very much.
Thank you. All right, back to you.
Okay. Hey, Roosevelt Lake dropped, it actually dropped 2% because I just checked it this morning and it's down another percent. We're 43% full for the lake. And typical summer patterns, they're taking a lot of water out for use down in the valley. Still a lot of water in the lake, no ramps or issues or anything like that. The standard ones that everybody uses in the summertime are all available. The Tonneau Creek is flowing at 50% of its normal rate for this time of year, and the water temperature remains in the 80s. So we've been in a pretty standard summer pattern for the last couple of weeks, and don't see anything on the horizon other than this one storm that everybody's counting on. That bass fishing was called good this past week, and the best success was reported on Texas rigs, drop shot, and Carolina rigs. Baits that were being used this past week were Cincos, ribbon-tail worms, curly-tail worms, and lizards. Now, one more thing that we've been talking about. Do you remember a couple months ago we were talking about a frog bait?
Yes.
Yeah.
And everybody was thinking, well, it's kind of early for frog. And at that time, we were saying that, fish were just reacting to most anything that was on the surface. But this week, I got some serious reports that a spro frog in the backs of coves and the stick-ups in the evening is a serious bite that's on right now.
Nice.
So we're going to keep that just between our listeners here on...
all 100,000 of our closest friends.
Nice. Oh, there you go.
Our friends here on Shake, Rattle, and Troll, if you're coming up this weekend, bring a couple of spro frogs with you. The white color with the orange dots and the green color with the black dots were the two frogs that were there. If we wanted a specific area where you might go try this, it would be the stick-ups between the Windy Hill ramp and the schoolhouse ramp on the highway side of the lake, for those that are familiar there. A lot of stick-ups in that area, a nice drop-off into the channel there. So might be worth a try this week. If you're coming.
Well, yeah, at the same time, we need to mention, with this water dropping, there are some navigational hazards out there, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, be careful because they don't do as good a job as they used to with marking some of the hazards there.
No.
So that's been that way for a couple of years. We just need to be careful. Hey, a lot of fishermen are still fishing in 15 to 25 feet of water. If you like a drop shot technique or a weightless Cinco, I would look for a major point into the lake or a nice drop off. You can see those around Goose Flats or up by Connor's Ledge. Two other good spots were reported there. A lot of guys are fishing at night. We just went by a new moon, which means we have very little light. So most guys, if you're fishing at night, they're going to use darker colors. This would be a black, dark purple, or a dark blue color. Nighttime fishing, if the storms don't come up, can be a lot of fun and a lot of activity, especially this coming weekend.
Anybody throwing black and red?
Anything with black in it is dark. That red is always a good attractor. So just darker colors. Usually during the day, everyone says Roosevelt's kind of a green lake. Green something with a gold or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But especially with the new moon, when it's really dark, you want to go with darker colors. Crappie fishermen are finding the same thing. A lot of them are fishing after dark now. And the crappie lights, which attract bait fish and then bring crappie up to your boat, they're really effective this week with the new moon. So I see a lot of crappie guys out there with their lights. You can see them from the highway, kind of lit up out there. So live minnows, guys are using it at nighttime. That's usually the bait that everybody's using at nighttime.
So what about the trout fishing? How's that working out on some of the rim lakes?
We've been saying all year that it's spectacular, and it continues to be. We got a fire up around sunrise, so if you're going up on the res or anywhere fishing there, you need to check out, make sure that it's open and the roads are open up there. But the trout stocking program is hugely successful. Baits that are being recommended are crawfish color crankbaits, Z-rays, and size 0 spinners. So mornings and evenings are the best time to fish. And I was talking to a fly fisherman this week who was telling me that he's using a dry fly, and he would literally just let that thing sit on the water for 30 to 45 seconds before he'd ever move it. And he said on the first draw or the first movement of the fly, he was getting his strikes.
Don't have the patience. That's a long time, 45 seconds. Oh, man.
For a bass fisherman, that's an eternity.
Wow.
Right?
For Don, that's 2 lifetimes.
That's right. But, yeah, good times up on the rim and fun there. Now, remember this coming weekend is July 4th. We're going to have lots of people out on the water. So we're reminding everybody, be extra careful out there. We always seem to have a tragedy on long weekends, especially around 4th of July.
Well, I think the AZGFD and some of the sheriff's departments are going to have their wolf packs out there for drinking and driving your boat. So
probably will.
Checkpoint Charlie are usually at the 188 in the B line.
Yeah, roger that. So, James, who's your cornhole partner?
I was actually talking to Dennis this week.
Yeah, oh, God, that went through my mind.
The two of them on a cornhole tournament.
Wow.
There isn't a place small enough to contain those voices. Look at that.
Oh, man.
Now, I had to, in all honesty, I had to start from ground zero and explain to Dennis what it is. But take me down there. You may have some competition, JK.
All right, we're game. We're going to see what happens on this. I got money on anybody with a Phoenix zip code. You got anything from Payson on above?
Hey, talk is cheap, brother.
Ooh, we're going to throw down.
You should know better than to challenge those Payson boys.
That's true. I understand. Yeah. They're probably going to have wind deflectors going on.
Yeah, you need to watch that National Geo Mountain Men series so you'll figure it out.
All right.
James, we got to go, man. Have a great rest of the day, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, sir. Happy 4th of July.
You too, James. Take care.
Buddy. James Kuchenauer, RimCountryCustomRod.com. Check him out. We'll be back.
Farmer's plow, wishes go up and the world goes. You tell me that you've had a guilty conscience for so long.
JK, if you'll pass my crayons, we'll get this thing wrapped up and get out of here.
And the meds coming to you.
Yeah, buddy. All righty. All right, we've got a few minutes to get this thing wrapped up. I want to thank you guys for coming down. Are you going to have your...
Thanks for having us.
You're certainly welcome anytime. Are you going to have your calls available over to Lookout Mountain Outdoors?
Yeah. If he's interested in stocking some, we can get some over to him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Paying attention there, Joey?
Joey is out shooting European banded doves today.
That's his problem.
Yeah.
All right.
At least till I'd give him another hour, then it's going to be too hot.
Yeah,
you know,
he'll be back in.
Birds are.
He'll listen later.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty interesting. You know, we buy a lot of stuff from Joey over there, and you know, he just keeps getting better and better and better. And I'd encourage you to take some type of a center fire weapon out.
No, wait a minute. A 12 gauge with a turkey load will do just fine.
No. Shotgun center fire.
Okay. Shotgun is not as well.
It is. It's a center fire weapon.
Yeah. 375 of your closest BBs.
Yeah.
At 25 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your next adventure?
We are going to get out and get some coyotes on film, so we can get that put on the website.
On film?
Mm-hmm. You betcha.
Yeah, that's the goal. And getting
I
ready
would
for
prefer to see them coming in live and then afterwards laying down saying hi.
That's the goal.
Thank you. Not with a bow. We have way too many coyotes. Okay.
Okay.
You can do a little point and click.
I'm there. I will
Thank
take
you.
Yes, I'm there.
Well, let's get your website out there, and let's talk about your price points on some of your calls.
All right. The website is www.zericoutdoors.com.
You might want
How do you spell that?
XERIC outdoors.com. No Z.
You know, you could have had Axeric or something first in line, but no. Let's go Xeric.
Yeah, got to keep it unique.
Eric?
Price point. Any calls starting from anywhere about $15 to $25.
Okay.
Get a distress call for.
Depends on the type of wood.
Yeah, the species of wood.
That's what I like. It's unique.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else can get it. And for anybody listening, if you don't appreciate how much goes into turning a raw piece of wood into making it a finely tuned instrument like he is, you're missing the point.
How long does it take you to manufacture one?
2 hours roughly from start to finish.
Really?
Yeah. If I start with like the raw wood, like the mesquites and some of the more indigenous trees to Arizona, it could be 3 hours. You're starting from a raw log, so you don't go straight from a log to the lathe. You start with a bandsaw, and then you got some planing to do, and then you got
an OCD power.
Yeah, and I take a little bit too much care on how they look, so.
Damn, I didn't know it was loaded.
Yeah.
So 2 hours about, and then if it doesn't sound good, I'll put it aside, and I'll continue putting them together until I have
the pitch
till they sound good, and then the ones that don't sound good, either throw those reeds away or tune them up and make them sound good.
What's your bore size of your sound chamber?
It changes.
Mm-hmm.
The average, about a half inch for a distress call. The more you open it up on the back side, the more you can kind of push the sound out there. So where you're blowing into it, it's on the trumpet side, if you will, it's about half inch to 7/16, and then I can turn them up to about 3/4 of an inch on the outside.
Wow.
Mm.
So you're doubling the chamber size on the outgo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a good resonance.
And it makes it easier
like you
to
said,
blow
the
in.
harder the wood, the more it carries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you keep the same bore size all the way through, it's a little harder call to use. It's harder to blow through, and it's not as user friendly. It takes a little bit more skill, and I kind of want somebody to just pick it up and be able to use the call. And
I prefer skill.
Well,
back in
the day, there was such a thing of cutting the end out of a 16-ounce Budweiser can, poking a hole in the other end, and sticking your call in there to get more distance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then a guy named
Absolutely
Dan
barbaric.
Thompson, he pretty much revolutionized game calls, in my opinion. He was one of the first guys to really be making calls, from what I know, with a trumpet, like coyote calls where they have a bigger end on them on the trumpet side.
Yeah, David Thomas, the Wolf Whisperer, has some very, very nice coyote and wolf calls made out of cow horns.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does that with particularly the wolf calls, which are really impressive.
Yeah,
you do a wolf call and coyotes are running the other way.
Yeah, boy,
in a heartbeat.
That's not very practical for what we're trying to do.
No.
Okay, so if I go to your website and order a call, how long is it going to take to?
4 days. You should have about 4 days.
Before I get it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. If you're I'm shipped right now. Most of the sales are on eBay.
Really?
People are getting them in about 3 to 4 days.
Nice.
My shipping is 4 to 5 standard shipping, but
You need a raw wood inventory? Because I'm going to get you some samples of some exotic
we sure
woods.
do.
Yeah, I definitely need inventory. I'm getting ready. I'm moving out to Black Canyon City, and the house has a nice shop that I'm going to be setting up and everything. And
Black Canyon City.
The issue with Black Canyon City, which one of the militias are you going to have to join when you move out there?
I'm going to stick to my own out there, lone wolf.
You know what? I used to go out there for the Hogs and Heat concerts. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right down the street from my place out there now.
Yeah, I remember that.
You didn't happen to buy Barry Lewis's old place, did you?
No.
Bad. He had a great place out there.
It's nice out there.
If you have anything that butts up to any washes, let me know, because I'll come gold panning out there.
I do. I'm right on the Agua Fria back
Are
in
you
BLM
serious?
land.
Yep.
Yeah.
Backyard.
Nobody behind me or anything.
You have a new best friend.
2, 3.
Yeah. We're going to camp out.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds like
a couple extra bedrooms.
Nice.
We plan on training, getting up those mountains.
Yeah, get her in shape
'cause
for
I
some
need
mule
that.
deer
I
hunt,
need
archery
that.
mule deer hunts.
Oh, yeah.
Because when he goes, he's a mountain goat. Going up those mountains, I cannot keep up with him. I'm like, oh dear, that's where that bacon grease is coming in handy.
You know, that's like going out with JK. It's like he says, "Can't we go up?" I said, "No, we're gonna stay down here in the canyon."
Always have to go up.
Yeah, it's like a damn goat.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to be
We'll
on the
meet you
highest
guys
rock
later
in the
at
place.
the top.
Wow.
There is something to be said for being above it.
Mm-hmm. You see a lot more.
Yes.
It's well worth it when I'm finally up there, I will admit.
Okay. We can whip your butt into shape.
Yep.
Sprints. 50-yard sprints.
Go.
Yeah.
With
Either
a
that or a
backpack.
treadmill at an obscene angle.
Oh dear.
In a backpack.
Yeah.
This all
Alrighty,
sounds
next week we're going to continue with our exposure of the deception that we're all living with J.D. King, and in the meanwhile, he's got a couple of videos out that if you have any extra time, Crying Wolf is one, and the other is Blue, exposes the
Lies of Green.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty compelling stuff. He's a young man that got it early on, and
well, he's involved with it. He's from the area, and he's committed to exposing it.
yeah,
which
he's
is really
a Montana
important.
boy. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think we need to do some follow up with Jim Beers and.
No question. I'm going to talk to Jim this year, and if he's out here at all, we'll have him in studio.
I'd like to have him in studio, but I think we need to follow up with all the stuff that's going on. The wolf front seems to be relatively quiet, which makes me real nervous.
Well, everybody's sitting there waiting because we know the decision's supposed to be down sometime in mid-July.
Well, we know what it's going to be.
Yes, we do.
And formulating the problem with
litigate is us.
The hunting community is, we're real good at raising money and growing wildlife and doing this and doing that, but we pretty much suck at defending what we've built.
That's true.
And
although there are a lot of things in motion to let the general population know that hunters are damn good things and you should be grateful we're out here.
Well, we're going to go ahead and post Agenda 21 on the website.
Okay.
I know there's about a half a dozen pages that are pertinent to
Yukon to the Yucatan.
Yeah, this is it was called Smoke and Mirrors, but it came out of the UN, and I think the current administration is pretty much behind it.
They're in favor of it. That's for sure.
With all the, John, the thing that bugs me about it, Agenda 21, and out of all of the outside, I'm going to call them the other side groups, J.D. King only mentioned the CBD primarily.
Well, that's the one who founded this process of litigation with the Equal Access to Justice.
Yeah, but part and parcel of Agenda 21, the other side, they want to reduce the Earth's population by 85%.
Oh yeah, genocide would not be something they'd be objecting to.
No, they're definitely in favor of it. And the point I want to make is, I think they're on their third round of passing out 50,000 boxes of condoms.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's not hollow points.
Wow.
They are of that mindset that we are way too populated of everything, and they want to get rid of us.
Yeah.
And anybody over 50, you're out of here.
I'm done.
We were done a long time ago, Don.
Yeah, pretty much about age 18. All righty, we got a couple of minutes. One more time, your website and phone number.
It is ZerichOutdoors.com, and the phone number is
602-882-7783.
We'll get that up on the website. You know what has occurred to me? I'd like to get these guys and Eddie Murdoch down here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'd have fun. Jennifer, on the other hand, would leave the studio because the noise would kill her.
Oh, God love her, yeah. Yeah.
She would have a very difficult time.
Yeah, and then maybe throw in David Thomas.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Why not?
Just have a call-in weekend.
Yeah, call it in.
Like
all right, hey, guys, if you haven't signed up for the Cornhole Tournament, you can check that out and sign up at BillLuke.com.
Come on, Phoenix Ringers, I need you up there.
Yeah, man.
We got a bet going.
All righty, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope you learned something today. You guys come back again, and thanks for coming down, JK.
As always.